Welcome back to STL Live. Health and wellness are two of the many components that help someone live a fulfilling lifestyle. Relationships that can disrupt those components are unhealthy, and here to share more with us is toxic relationship and awareness healing specialist, Dr. Heidi Westra Brocke. Dr. Heidi, as you're known, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And you know, at first when I found out you were going to be on, I thought jokes came to mind about bad relationships, and then when I thought about it for a second, I thought, that's really not funny, because those can be absolutely devastating to a person.
Yeah. Yep, that's why I'm doing what I do, actually.
Right. And you're going to have a healing conference, awareness and healing conference coming up, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But I think kind of what draws me to you and why you're doing this is your personal story. Because people might say, well, how can Dr. Heidi help me? She doesn't know my problems, but guess what? You do.
Yeah, yeah. So the reason that I do what I do is because of my past. If you would have asked me...
Because you're a chiropractor by trade.
I am a chiropractor by trade. I've been in healthcare for over 21 years, which ages me a little bit.
So you're at least in your 31.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly. So, so I've been mentoring and coaching people on health and wellness and whatever it is that we do in that industry. But yeah, about 3 years ago, it was put upon me to start making some sense out of my past, and I was led accidentally. This certainly was not my mission. My mission chose me for sure, but it makes sense. When I was in a toxic relationship, it was by far the loneliest time of my life. And so my mission is to make as many aware of the traits of the toxic person so that they can understand the situations that they're in.
Well, Dr. Heidi, nobody has a perfect relationship, so maybe we should define toxic as far as you define it, because some people might get an argument once in a while, or something their partner does annoys them, but you're talking about something a lot more serious.
Yes. So what I do is I help people who've been in toxic relationships, and I use that term very loosely.
How bad was yours?
But well, mine was quite toxic. But I use the term loosely because it encompasses so much. Emotional abuse, narcissistic abuse, recovery, that kind of thing is what I work with, because people are often in it so long they don't really realize they're in it. It becomes normal to them.
Right.
So in order to understand the dynamics of what's actually happening, that's where I do the teaching and education.
So I'm guessing that physical violence could or could not be part of it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, because there's all different levels of toxic. So for instance, like my programs, I wouldn't say, oh yes, you are in a toxic relationship. I would present to you the information, the characteristics of the toxic person, so you then can decide if that relationship is healthy or unhealthy.
What are those characteristics?
Well, I wrote my own program, so the programs that I lead my clients through is a program that I wrote, so there's a lot of characteristics, but constant criticism, feeling of fear, tension, being worried that you're going to be in trouble or making them mad, or gaslighting, which is chronic lying, denying any type of abuse, isolating you from family and friends, or causing you to quit hobbies that you like. It's basically a control tactic.
Do you find that people they must know they're in an unhealthy relationship, but are they kind of in denial themselves? Maybe they don't realize how toxic it is. Maybe they just accept it because they don't know any better?
Yeah, denial is tricky because it's denial on both sides. The person that's in the toxic relationship will deny being in one. For one, they don't want to admit that they've made a mistake getting into that, because usually a friend or family member has said, are you sure that this is the right choice?
Is it always one person's fault? Could it not? Sometimes could the person that come to see you, maybe, I hate to point a finger of blame, but do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and two, you have people that will come to me or come to my workshops, and they're the opposite. What they're trying to do is educate themselves to use the characteristics against.
So briefly, what's going to happen at your conference?
The conference is Saturday and Sunday, and it's basically my 12-week awareness program. So I'm going over all the 21 characteristics of my personal program so that you can recognize the red flags of a toxic relationship and understand why the people in your life may be doing what they're doing. So it takes the emotional connection out so that you can actually look at the relationship as a whole and decide if it's healthy for you. The way they suck you back in after you've got strong enough to leave, I'm going through a series of tactics that they use there, and how they manipulate the conversation.
I was only in one relationship, and I wouldn't quite call it toxic, but that wasn't good. But I feel like I learned a lot from it, and it never happened again. Is that not true for everyone?
That sometimes is not true, because once you've been in one, the behavior and the way you're being treated, or your self-confidence and your self-worth, keeps you going from one to the next.
Depends on your self-esteem, doesn't it?
Yes, but this is a misnomer too. A lot of my clients will say, well, I think my picker is broken because I keep picking one after the next. Well, that's not necessarily true, because a true toxic person targets a good, loving, kind person, because those are the type of people that a narcissist or an emotional abuser will be able to control. So it's not necessarily that your picker is broken, but you need to be able to spot the red flags so that you can protect yourself.
What kind of success rate is there in becoming happier, not just for you in your practice personally, but if a person comes with this kind of background and been trained sort of to react in these ways, does everybody get over it?
Well, I will tell you that that's exactly how I teach. You've been programmed, and it's just an unprogramming. I will tell you, the clients that I've had in the last year, they are now the strongest people I know, and some of them have turned into my support system.
Wow.
So, and I'm sure I will know them for a long time. But if you would ask them, I have some that will call me and say, I'm actually feeling like I'm happy. I can't believe I'm feeling happy.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's just an education.
Well, there's no question there's a need for what you do, so good.
Yes, I enjoy
good,
it.
Good. Well, it's great meeting you, and thank you.
Yes, nice to
Have
meet
a
you.
wonderful conference. It's not normal. It's toxic. Toxic Relationship Awareness and Healing Conference. That's what's coming up. It's taking place April 7th and 8th from 9 to 5 in the Holiday Inn Select St. Louis downtown, which is located at 811 North 9th Street. If you'd like more information, call 618-632-2000 or contact Dr. Heidi at facebook.com/coaching with Dr. Heidi, or you can visit edgewellness.net. Stay with us at STL TV Live, and thank you so much for watching us, and we hope you come back next time. Thank you.